Welcome to VLSI design video. We are in the unit 3 CMOS subsystem design. I hope you have all watched lecture 1 and lecture 2 videos. So in continuation with this, we are moving on to the next topics, that is about the DRAM and the DRAM cells and refresh timings. So the objective of this lecture is to make you understand DRAM basics, differential operation in dynamic RAMs, DRAM read process with dummy cell, operation of the read circuit, calculation of change in bitline voltage, area considerations, and metal gate diffusion storage. So first let's see the basics of DRAM cell and access time consideration. So as you all know, DRAM is the dynamic random access memory. It is always associated with a MOSFET, that is the transistor, and a tiny capacitor. So that we have seen in the first lecture. So these capacitors now store the voltage in the form of the charge. So since the storage value of the capacitance changes with the time, that's why we call it as a dynamic. In the SRAM we have seen it is static because there is no charge and discharge. So the stored value is constant or it is static, we call it as SRAM. Whereas here, since the value varies as per time, this is called as dynamic RAM cell. So a 1 bit SRAM cell you can see in the figure. So the CS capacitor, CS, stores the charge for the cell. So transistor M1, which is indicated here, gives the read-write access to the cell. So CB is the capacitance of the bit line per unit. We know the word line is horizontal line and the vertical line which you see here is the bit line. So memory cells are etched onto a silicon wafer in array of columns, bit lines, and rows, that is word lines. The intersection of a bit line and word line constitutes the address of the memory cell. So DRAM works by sending a charge through the appropriate column, that is CAS, column address probe it is called as, to activate the transistor at each bit in the column. When writing, the row lines contain the state the capacitor should take on. When reading, the sense amplifier will determine the level of the charge in the capacitor. If it is more than 50%, it reads as 1, otherwise it reads as 0. The counter tracks the refresh sequence based on which rows have been accessed in what order. The length of time necessary to do all this is so short that it is expressed in nanoseconds, that is with billions of a second. Example, a memory chip rating of 70 nanosecond means that it takes 70 nanoseconds to completely read and recharge itself. This is the meaning. The capacitor in a dynamic RAM memory cell is like a leaky bucket. You all know what happens in a leaky bucket. Does it take time? No. As the time passes, the water will get drained away from that leaky bucket. So dynamic RAM has to be dynamically refreshed all of the time, or it forgets what it is holding. So this refreshing takes time and slows down the memory. Now let's see differential operation in dynamic RAMs. So the sense amplifier responds to difference in signals appearing between the bit lines. Why has the sense amplifier been used? The sense amplifier is used at reading. Because when we read, if the stored value is less than 50%, it reads as 0. Maybe it might be logic 1 itself, but might be charged or something might. So if it is less than 50%, it treats as 0, which is not proper answer. So the sense amplifier, it senses and it responds to the difference in the signals appearing between the bit lines. It is capable of rejecting the interference signals that are common to both lines, such as those caused by capacitive coupling from the word lines. For this common mode to be effective, both sides of the amplifier must be matched, taking into account the circuit that feed each side. This is required in order to make the inherently single-ended output of the DRAM cell appear differential. So single to differential conversion is one step. Large memories which are greater than 1 megabit that are exceedingly prone to noise disturbances resort to translating the single-ended sensing problem into a differential one. The single to differential is demonstrated in this figure, you can see. So differential sense amplifier, now you know there is a bit line and a word line. So we have the storage cell here. So this storage cell will store the data. So the stored data is taken, and the bit line what it is having, the value is also taken. So now the differential sense amplifier will now make the difference between X and X bar, which is nothing but the reference voltage, and if the difference is too high, then the output will be 0. If the difference is less, it will amplify it, like suppose if it is not exactly VDD, if it is little less than VDD, now it senses and it amplifies particular desired level and will give you the output. This is called as single to differential conversion. So a difference is on one side and a reference voltage which is positioned between the two ends. This is the bit line. The flip-flop toggles in one or the other direction. Voltage levels tend to vary from die to die or even a single die, so the reference source must track those variations. Popular way of doing so is illustrated in the figure which I will show you in the next slide. The memory array is divided into two halves with the differential amplifier placed in the middle. On each side, a column called a dummy cell is added. These are 1 transistor memory cells again, which are similar to other 1T cells, but whose sole purpose is to serve as reference, not to store, but yes, the storage capacitors. These are 1-bit storage cells. So the left dummy is not to store but to act as next. So right, the cell which is bit bar, it is again to act as a reference. So single conversion between differential operation. So single ended DRAM cell, for that we want a reference is made by such circuitry which is shown here. So these are called as a dummy cells. Two identical halves you can see here, each bit line. This is bit line, this is again the bit line, again the bit line. So each bit line is identical half. Cell which is the word line of the side, it is then vice versa. The dummy cell on the left is controlled. Right? serves as the DRAM increment for V line, and here are the cells of it. Not like column, they are the distribution of lines are such that even X are in the right half and all R's are in the left half. So the circuit which is shown in the previous slide, again I am going to show you about the operation, read operation. So the two halves of the line are pre-charged to VDD by 2 and their voltages are equalized. At the same time, the capacitors of the two dummy cells, one is on the left and one is on the right, are pre-charged again to VDD by 2. Then the word line is raised. Word line is called horizontal line is selected and the dummy cell of the other side is enabled, which is raised to VDD. Thus, the half line connected to the selected cell will develop a voltage increment which is greater than VDD by 2. It can be V or V0 depending on whether it is 1 or 0 is stored in the cell. Meanwhile, the other half of the line will have its voltage held equal to that of CD. The result is the differential signal that the sense amplifier detects and amplifies when is enabled. As usual, by the end of the regenerative process, the amplifier will cause the voltage on one half of the line to become VDD and that on the other half to become 0. So here you can see the read operation. If X1 cell is accessed, then the dummy cell on the right side is also selected. So at this cycle time, row address stop is row line, that is the line, it is activated, and the column line is also activated. Then you can see here the operation which is red. Here again the operation which is red. The data which is stored after the row address strobe, it is red, and you can see here also it is red. So the actual voltage of the bit line will be V bit, where V bit is CSVS plus CB VDD by CS plus CB, where CB is the bit capacitance and CS is the storage cell capacitance and Vs is the voltage between the nodes of the storage capacitance. The storage capacitance with dummy cell is taken as CS by 2 on both sides in a column. Let's look into the example. If Vs is 1, logic 1, that is 5, and the storage capacitor is 1 picofarad and the CB is 4 picofarad, then what is the voltage at bit? 1 into 5 plus 4 into 5, 5, which will be resulting as 5 volts. So this shows that there is no charge. But if so, when charge so the tricky part of in the tree to read out the stored value, the charge, or minimize the store capacitor size. Stored values in DRAM cells are read out using sense amplifiers, which are extremely sensitive comparators, which compares the value stored in the DRAM cell with that of a reference cell. The reference which stands halfway between the two voltage levels used in the memory cell. Impedance amplifiers reduce sensitivity to noise and compensate for differences in threshold. All let the capacitance per unit length of bit line be CB and the storage capacitance of the DRAM cells be CS. If there are n, see here, number such sections, then the net bit capacitance of the bit line will be CB, obviously. Let the bit line be precharged to VP. So when the bit line is connected to the capacitance of the DRAM cell, the net voltage will be some intermediate voltage due to charge sharing, and it is given by equals NCBVP plus C. So a term charge transfer ratio is defined in this context as charge transfer ratio, in short we call it as CTR, is CS by CS plus N, which is 1 by 1 plus NCB by CS. If I consider CB by CS by CB, then it is 1 by 1 plus N by N dash, where N dash is CS by CB, as I said. For a particular technology, the bit capacitance is fixed. Only CS will be changed because it is a stored capacitance. When the bit line is connected to storage capacitor, the change of the voltage at the bit line is given by delta of CS plus NCB, and so CS by into Vs minus Vp. For good design, the value of delta V bit, that is the change in the voltage at bit line, should be as high as possible, so that it will allow the sensor to sense the bit correctly and quickly. Increase in delta V bit requires CTR to increase. That leads to increase in the value of N. N dash depends on N dash upon requirement, still allowing the larger capacity. Retrofit technique is used. In this case, the capacitors are laid down as figure shown here. So retrofit serially placed, having a gap in between. Standard DRAM cell uses diffusion, polysilicon or metal as the bit line, which will be discussed later. Typical area calculation for storage capacitance is shown in the figure you can see here. So the area you can see here, if it is n dash lambda, the length you can see it is 2 lambda. Area A consumed by the capacitor is given as 2 lambda n dash lambda or 2 n dash lambda dash. Large area leads to large storage capacitance. Large storage capacitance lead to, therefore, decline. Next is the metal gate diffusion storage. Several DRAM cells are in place now. Few of them are as follows. They are SPDP, is single poly diffused bit, single poly poly bit SPPB, single poly metal bit SPMB, and the other possibilities are DP dual poly diffused bit, DPPM dual poly poly bit, DPMB dual poly metal bit. So this is the single poly bit. Can make out so many of these structures using metal gate diffusion storage. So I hope you might have understood the DRAM cells, the DRAM structure, how the value is stored at the capacitor, area considerations, and the various types of the construction. Thank you for watching.